In one voice, the world declared, human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights.
I am from Britain, and I think it is right that I am paid the same as my male counterparts. I think it is right that I should be able to make decisions about my own body.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
It's our responsibility to make this world a better place. Yes, we play sports. Yes, we play soccer. Yes, we're female athletes, but we're so much more than that.
Personally, I think that gender inequality is a very serious issue in society. For me, gender equality would be equal rights for all genders, and that can be with responsibilities, wages, job opportunities, and also with law as well, which I think is probably the most important thing. For me, I think it's very important because if you do have gender equality, it can lead to a more productive society, and also it can lead to a safer society, especially for women in developing countries.
It is an important issue because men, women, transgenders, we have an important place. Nobody has the right to treat anyone or look down on anyone like that. So that's why it is important that everyone should be treated equally, disregard of their sex.
Thì chị nghĩ đến thế kỷ 21 nè, thì sẽ rất là nhiều người nghĩ là bất bình đẳng giới nó là một cái thứ không quan trọng. Tại vì nhiều người nghĩ là bây giờ nam nữ có vẻ bình đẳng rồi. Nhưng mà chị nghĩ thì nó không hẳn là như thế. Bây giờ trong đời sống bình thường của mình vẫn có rất là nhiều trường hợp bất bình đẳng giới nó xảy ra. Nó không chỉ là một cái vấn đề xã hội mà mình chỉ nói thoáng một cái là xong, mà nó là một cái vấn đề mà tất cả mọi người đều phải cùng đứng lên đấu tranh để chúng ta có những cái cơ hội bình đẳng. Có những cái cơ hội bình đẳng để được thể hiện bản thân này, có những cái cơ hội để chúng ta đều được phát triển như nhau.
As a result, we have established an IGCSE team project to investigate the relationship between gender inequality and education.
Our goal is to clarify the relationship between gender inequality and education by exploring different cultural perspectives on this subject to attain our goal for the betterment of gender equality, a society in which women and men enjoy the same opportunities, rights, and obligations in all spheres of life. This video will explore the subject by taking into account different cultural perspectives.
According to UNICEF's Glossary of Terms and Concepts, gender equality is defined as the concept that women and men, girls and boys have equal conditions, treatment, and opportunities for realizing their full potential, human rights and dignity, and for contributing to and benefiting from economic, social, cultural, and political development. Education is the process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, morals, beliefs, habits, and personal development. Education does not limit to education systems like schools, it also comes from home and society. For this research, we mainly focus on education systems, which includes the aspects of schools, teachers, textbooks, and other relevant topics.
In order to obtain a wider range of different perspectives, we conducted a survey asking a sample size of 100 secondary and high school students about their knowledge and opinions towards this issue. When rating the significance of gender inequality on a scale of 1 to 5, 51% of the participants chose 5, which is equivalent to very important. This suggests that many young people think that addressing gender equality is vital. So, what makes this issue concerning?
62 million girls around the world who should be in school are not. That's not by accident. It's the direct result of barriers, large and small, that stand in the way of girls who want to learn.
Since gender equitable education systems empower both girls and boys, it will act as a great tool to promote gender equality. A paper published by 2020 by professional Pamela Jakila states that the gaps between genders are small in countries with high levels of education. This implies that education has a significant role to play in lowering the gender gap.
Stereotypes can be thought of as characteristics society uses to attribute to certain groups of people in order to classify them. There exist harmful gender stereotypes that can negatively affect both genders. The stereotype that girls are less intellectually capable than boys, or the stereotype that men are supposed to be strong. Therefore, they should refrain from expressing their emotions. Education leads to the understanding of these harmful gender stereotypes, which can urge people to avoid spreading or imposing these stereotypes themselves.
Schools have enormous potential to affect change in gender relations by teaching students about gender equality. Over the years, Vietnamese schools have attempted to incorporate gender inequality education into their curriculum by including it in some subjects such as social studies and civics education.
Thì theo Thành nghĩ đây là một vấn đề quan trọng và cần đưa vào để giáo dục đối với các bạn học sinh. Thì các bạn phải ý thức được về vấn đề này. Thì vấn đề này sẽ không trở thành vấn đề nghiêm trọng.
Thì cần đầu tư thời gian trong tương lai để mình có thể đưa được những cái vấn đề đó vào trong học đường. Cô nghĩ rằng là nó rất là quan trọng.
In order for a country, a society and also the youth of a country to develop, I think they need to be educated on how gender equality can lead to benefits to the country and also the culture. In a country such as Vietnam, I think it's very important that education is given to children, especially in high school, about how gender inequality can lead to a safer society. In private schools and also international schools, I believe that it's being taught.
Theo thầy là có điều là cái tần suất và cái cường độ thì không có nhiều thôi. Còn ở các trường công thì trước đây với kinh nghiệm của thầy khi mà thầy dạy 7 năm tại các trường công thì vấn đề bất bình đẳng giới thì chưa được đề cập nhiều, cũng chưa được coi trọng nhiều cho lắm. Nó chỉ xuất hiện tương đối ít và có một chút xíu ở trong ví dụ môn giáo dục công dân thôi.
Thực ra thì các trường học ở Việt Nam chưa có một cái bộ môn nào và chưa có những cái giáo trình để dạy về cái chuyện bình đẳng giới và cũng không quá chú trọng về vấn đề đó. Kể cả ở Vinschool, khi Vinschool có hẳn bộ môn có tên là Việt Nam học nhưng cũng không đề cập đến cái chuyện bình đẳng giới ở trong cái môi trường học đường.
According to the survey, when asking about whether the respondents are taught about gender inequality at school, the majority 44% answered yes, followed by to some extent with 35%. When asked about the effectiveness of the teaching on a scale of 1 to 5, the majority 38.4% answered 3, followed by 4 with 25%.
1. Gender stereotypes discourage young girls from pursuing education. These stereotypes usually include the claim that boys possess more cerebral traits or that they're more capable of learning and comprehending certain subjects and concepts such as STEM. These stereotypes can discourage young girls from choosing to engage in certain professions that are considered more suitable for boys, like natural science or engineering, as well as express doubts in their academic choices.
Mama not living, and my partner here to send me to school.
Chị thấy đa số người ta sẽ assume là ok, con trai thì sẽ phù hợp để học những môn logic, science, STEM, còn con gái thì sẽ không thể nào học được những môn mà logic cao và STEM như thế. Hôm bữa chị tư vấn du học, xong rồi mấy trung tâm du học cũng nói là chị con gái nên là không phù hợp để học STEM. Và chị cũng có rất là nhiều người bạn complain về vấn đề là định hướng là học STEM nhưng mà bị nhiều người nói là con gái mà học STEM mà thế này thì nó đâu phải là môn khoa học đâu.
Women, especially in rural Vietnam, who are not having the encouragement from their families and also from the society that kind of hampers them and doesn't really help them achieve their dreams. There are many cases that I've witnessed previously in the past where a woman would have a child and then her husband would demand that she stays at home and takes care of the child instead of maybe following her dreams, or maybe she still wants to work. It would not be acceptable by the husband or especially the husband's family. So this is something that needs to be addressed, and I think more education needs to be brought to this problem.
As mentioned before, proper education can lead to understanding of harmful stereotypes, reducing gender inequality. Conversely, poor gender inequality education can enhance gender stereotypes, leading to discrimination towards both men and women. For example, nowadays gender inequality education fixates too much on the struggles that women face, neglecting the fact that men face gender inequality too. This negligence can lead to men avoiding help when needed, since they are supposed to be stronger and too privileged to complain.
I think that in education, if you promote negative stereotypes and you don't emphasize how men and women can both be equally as successful, I think it can lead to women being pigeonholed in certain roles. Gender inequality and education are linked in regards to sometimes stereotypes can be promoted in the classroom, and depending on the level of education that's being given and the curriculum, I think that sometimes there can be subtle and maybe unintentional stereotypes that are created. And I think that this can negatively affect the mentality of some younger generations.
Still, I feel there is a disparity. That is always an issue. I think still, like, there are certain jobs which are meant for men, which are meant for women, like CEO. Oh, woman is a CEO of the company. They have their eyebrows raised. Like, oh, they have that sort of a response, right? Usually with men, it's not. If a female gets a promotion, people just don't think maybe she's done it the right way or the right path, you know? She might have used other means to do that.
Lack of proper education can prevent women from being able to achieve things that can easily be achieved if educated, making them more dependent on men. In rural areas with poor education quality, illiteracy can prevent women from achieving simple tasks such as filling out hospital forms, sending a letter, or taking the right bus.
In particular, in rural areas in Vietnam, there can be a wage gap up to 30 or 40% difference in the wages. And I think this is something that the Vietnamese government and also society needs to address, and they need to realize that this is no longer acceptable in society. This seems to stem from traditional thinking and also more old-fashioned style of culture, where they feel like Vietnamese women are somewhat inferior to men. Particular emphasis needs to be given in rural areas, especially with family and education. And I think that they need to show more positive female role models in Vietnamese society.
Male characters depicted in textbooks are shown to be engaged in a wider and more diverse range of occupations compared to female characters. Not only can this strengthen gender stereotypes among students, Dung M 2015 also concluded that this can affect women's career choices as well.
Những cái sự xuất hiện của hình ảnh nam giới và nữ giới trong sách giáo khoa về các nghề khác nhau tạo ra một khuôn mẫu, tạo ra một định kiến trong việc lựa chọn nghề, để rồi sẽ dẫn đến những hậu quả như các em nam thì sẽ không được lựa chọn ngành này, phải lựa chọn ngành kia. Các em nữ phải lựa chọn ngành này, không được lựa chọn ngành khác.
That is, they have the power to interpret and tweak the curriculum in accordance with the teaching method in order to deliver it to the students.
Bất bình đẳng giới và giáo dục thì dĩ nhiên là sẽ có mối quan hệ với nhau. Ví dụ như là trong giáo dục thì các phương pháp giáo dục sẽ hướng đến các đối tượng học sinh, ví dụ nam hay nữ khác nhau thì cũng có thể xét tới một số phương pháp khác nhau.
According to Dung M 2015, highly experienced teachers and managers in Vietnamese schools believe that gender inequality should only be considered when teaching subjects such as history, civics, biology, or literature, because they are the only subjects that teachers can integrate gender equality education in. This can make them fail to acknowledge potential gender biases in their teaching methods.
Thực ra thì giáo dục chưa bao giờ góp phần gây ra bình đẳng giới cả.
Nếu chỉ xét đơn thuần ở khía cạnh nhà trường giáo dục thì thầy nghĩ là nó không có gây ra bất bình đẳng giới.
And that is why the United States government recently launched a new global girls' education effort called Let Girls Learn. As part of this initiative, U.S. Peace Corps volunteers will work side by side with local leaders, families, and girls themselves to help girls go to school and stay in school.